A very good afternoon to you and welcome to the BBC News at 1. It was hailed as the largest modernisation of the railways since Victorian times and was at the heart of the government's long-term economic plan. But today, the Chief Executive of Network Rail, Mark Khan, has told the BBC its 5-year, £38 billion programme was simply too ambitious. In the last hour, the Transport Secretary, Patrick McLaughlin, has told MPs that modernisation will now cost more and take longer. Labour has described it as a complete shambles and a catalogue of failures. Here's our transport correspondent, Richard Westcott.
We were promised the biggest boost to our railways since the Victorians, a 5-year plan to bring in bigger, quicker, more reliable electric trains. But the company that said it could deliver the plan now says it can't.
All of these problems could and should have been foreseen by Network Rail. So I want to inform the House of the action that I am taking to reset this programme and get it back on track.
Network Rail's progress electrifying lines has been dogged by delays and spiralling costs, so big schemes will go on hold. Despite promises to build a northern economic powerhouse, its northern passengers losing out. Plans to electrify lines across the Pennines linking Manchester with Leeds and Hull, and the line linking London to Derby, Nottingham and Sheffield could both be delayed for years. Already way behind schedule, work to electrify the line linking London and South Wales could also be late. It all adds up to a worse service for passengers.
We're paying more and more fares each year, and part of that was the expectation that there would be improvements on the infrastructure, the tracks, so as to enable the trains to be more punctual and reliable.
Just months after this engineering fiasco in London, Network Rail's boss is saying sorry again.
Over the last year, it's become increasingly obvious that the challenges of operating, maintaining and enhancing our railway are really significant. And so it's time, I think, to level with the public and say some of these projects, these extraordinary projects that we absolutely need, are going to take longer and they are going to cost more than we originally thought.
Network Rail is getting a new chairman to help sort it out. He's been told to report back in a few months with a new, realistic plan, detailing what they can do and how much it'll cost. Richard Westcott, BBC News.
Let's speak to our assistant political editor, Norman Smith. Norman, give us a bit of context here. Just how big a blow is this for the government?
This is significant because these improvements were meant to be the biggest shake-up in the railways since Isambard Kingdom Brunel first put on his top hat and stuck a cigar in his mouth. These were meant to revolutionise the railways in a way not seen since Victorian times, and yet only 2 years or so since the £12 billion project was unveiled, already key parts of that improvement programme have in effect hit the buffers. The finger of blame, though, is being pointed very directly at Network Rail, who are responsible for the tracks, with the chairman gone, no bonuses going to be paid, a shake-up of the governments of Network Rail and an inquiry into their future investment plans. But there are also, I think, consequences for the government. Consequence number one, a significant setback to George Osborne's plans for a northern powerhouse. It raises question marks about HS2. And for the travelling public, there will be more delays, more unhappy journeys. I rather suspect if Isambard Kingdom Brunel was around today, he'd probably put his foot through his hat.
OK, Norman Smith out Westminster. Thanks, Norman. David Cameron.